hope that you're well. My mum bought a new coffee machine the other day and it's really nice. It's proper fancy, but neither of us have quite figured out like how to do the milk properly. How do those baristas do it? I've really tried it a couple of times now. And I even got taught when I worked back in a hotel in New Zealand in 2016, like how to do the milk. And I thought I was doing it okay, but then when it pours, it just kind of lumps on the top. And so if anyone has any tips, some like easy tips on how I can make that go quite perfectly, please let me know. But the coffee tastes nice anyway. I just want to get better. I thought I would film a day in the life video today because 1, it is Monday, 2, I am feeling productive and I want to get a lot done, and 3, I kind of have a new productive daily routine that actually works for me. Because what I realized before is I was kind of doing things in an order that wasn't actually working for me. For example, I always thought that I should be working out in the morning because I thought that that was the most productive thing that I could do for me. But no, I have realised that if I go out and work out in the morning, it just makes me feel wildly unproductive after that. I just want to shower and sit down and eat food and just like my brain, it's like it's switched off for the day. So that doesn't work for me. So working out now comes later in the day, which I'll show you later. And the first thing that I now do in the mornings after my morning coffee is set myself up for the day. So that'll be with like emails. I have to check the store orders of backpackingbananas.com, see if anyone's bought any digital products. If I have any invoices to send off, I'll do that. But I will also look at my day ahead, plan my day ahead, set a few goals for myself, realistic goals, but stick them into a timetable that works for me. Now I have a telephone meeting this afternoon and I have an appointment at the clinic this morning, so I do actually have to work my working day around these things, but I quite like that, you know. I actually quite like having these structured things which makes me put my work around them. I don't know why that makes my life a little bit easier, just gives it a little bit more structure when I'm busier, like when I've got things to do. It's the days where I have literally nothing planned that are the hardest to plan. But anyway, I'm going to start with my emails and hopefully I did not receive many on the weekend. And since I'm on my devices right now, it seems like a very good time to tell you about the sponsors of today's video, Surfshark.
Surfshark are a VPN, which stands for Virtual Private Network. A VPN basically makes your internet connection private, and this in itself has a whole bunch of benefits that you may not be aware of. Firstly, it allows you to browse privately by encrypting your internet activity so no one can track or steal your data. You can also protect your data and privacy whilst using Wi-Fi networks you don't trust, like in an airport for example. Did you know that by connecting to the airport's public Wi-Fi, your device is at risk of being hacked? When you switch Surfshark on, it acts like a virtual shield on your connection, so you can continue using the airport free Wi-Fi without the risk of being hacked. And when you are in foreign countries, Surfshark really comes into its own, as you can keep your digital freedom whilst travelling to internet restricted countries. You can access any material that may be blocked or censored in that country with literally just the click of a button. You can switch your virtual location to pretty much anywhere in the world.
Surfshark is one of the only VPNs which you can use across an unlimited number of your devices. So all on the one account. I have it on my phone, my laptop, and my iPad. So when I'm out and about, I know that all of my devices are always safe.
Surfshark are giving you guys 83% off and an extra 3 months for free when you use my code backpacking or using the link in the description.
So the reason I need to go to the clinic is because I'm actually getting a coil fitted, which is very exciting. I've never had a coil fitted before, but I've heard very good things from my friends about the benefits of getting the, what's it called, the Mirena coil, the one with the hormones, not the copper coil. And it's in 25 minutes and it's just occurred to me that I'm probably going to want to shower before I go because things are going to get a little bit intimate. So I'm going to go shower now and then we will head off to the clinic. Okay, I'm all dressed. This is clinic outfit and I am ready to party.
I'm quite excited actually because this is something that I've been wanting to get for absolutely ages. But I've just kept putting it off, and you know, part of the problem is the fact that I do travel a lot and I don't know how this is going to mess up my like period pattern, which is the reason I've been putting it off, because when you're traveling you don't want to be in a position where you don't know when to expect your period. I don't know, I just like to know what's happening, but since it's COVID and I'm home for a long time now, it seems like a good time to finally get this done. But is it gonna hurt? That just occurred to me as I was driving. I was like, oh God, is this gonna hurt? we'll see. I'll let you know. I won't bring the camera in there. I feel like that would be a little bit strange, but I shall report back. I'm back. She's now a coil fitted banana. It's like 45 minutes later, which I guess seems like a long time, but it didn't feel that long because when I first went in, they did a urine sample and then they had to like weigh me and do my blood pressure. And then I had to tick a load of boxes saying, yes, I know what I'm doing, blah, blah, blah. Then you go into the room and the nurse just goes through everything with you, make sure you're aware of all the risks. There's very little risks, but, you know, making sure you're just aware of what is going to happen when you get the coil fitted. And then you go onto the table, you strip down, she inserts, I guess, the thing to open up your vag, and then she puts the coil in. There's much more technical terms than what I'm using, but that's essentially what happened. Oh, and by the way, if you don't know, the coil is a form of contraception. So the one I got is the Mirena coil, which is a hormonal coil. It lasts for 5 years, and it's essentially just a very effective way of not getting pregnant, which is quite nice. In terms of the pain, yes, it did hurt, but for a very short amount of time. Like, I was quite relaxed, and then when she did it, like, it was certainly wince-worthy, let's say that. I was like, ooh! And that happened like actually 2 or 3 times because I'm not entirely sure. She was like, now I'm doing this, and I was like, ooh! And then she was like, and now I'm doing this, and I was like, ooh! But then once it was done, and then she took like the clamp back out again, it was completely fine. And now I literally do not feel a thing. I do not feel any cramping. She said I could feel like some period style cramping for up to 3 days. I'm hoping in a positive world that I'm not going to feel any, because I would really like to go for a run this afternoon. I guess I'll just have to deal with whatever kind of pain I end up receiving. Well, she said not pain, but discomfort is normal. So anyway, I'm now a coil fitted banana. How very exciting. And I have got very many things to do on my to-do list today. So we are going to head back home. Okay, so we are back. I said this was going to be a productive day, and I'm going to stick to that, and I'm going to use my new technique, which, well, I think I came up with it because I didn't get the idea from anyone else, but I'm sure I can't be the first person to say it. But my new productivity hack that I like to do is basically, my phone is the biggest distraction for me from when I'm working. Like when I'm actually working, like editing, writing scripts, I don't need my phone. But I always seem to pick up my phone and it's the biggest distraction for me. So what I like to do now is I take a time lapse of either myself or of the garden, or just a time lapse of something using my phone, because that stops me from picking it up, because I'm like, no, a time lapse is recording, I cannot interrupt it. And also, you end up with a really nice little time lapse for yourself after you've done the work. So it's 10:48. I want to have my lunch at about 11:30 because I do have an early lunch, which means I am going to try and get some solid work done for about 45 minutes. I'm going to set a time lapse up of myself working just over here, and you will get to see that time lapse on the vlog now. On the lunch menu, we have Heinz tomato soup with some grated cheese, Hovis seeded sensations slice of toast, which has been buttered. And this is a pretty standard, typical lunch for me, to be honest. I could probably make it a bit better with using fresh soup as opposed to Heinz soup, but I'm quite lazy, and this is quite easy and quite quick, so. Tastes good though. 12:30 and we are back at the desk. I didn't manage to finish writing the script for the Puerto Escondido Ultimate Guide earlier, but I think I'm going to continue writing that a little bit later. I want to split my day up a little bit with a few different things. I have a meeting at 2 o'clock, so I have an hour and a half to get something done. And what I'm going to focus on now, I think, is
actually making some TikToks. So I filmed a couple of TikToks a couple of weeks ago, and then I never ever got around to actually editing them. It was literally just me answering some questions that I had received in the comments about backpacking. And I really, really do want to work on my TikTok, especially as, and I haven't told you this, maybe I have, I don't think I have, I am planning in May to do a road trip, a solo road trip in Scotland around the North Coast 500. Now, it's not absolutely set in stone right now, but I have really started kind of going into detail with the planning of it, and so I'm really, really hoping that it does go ahead. But anyway, I thought like making TikToks of that road trip would just be so cool, and that's the kind of like content that I would like to see. So I really want to start building up my TikTok again and actually putting a bit of effort into it and working a little harder on it to build up a little bit of an audience there. So that was a long-winded way of saying I'm going to start working on editing some TikToks. Basically, what I want to do for the B-roll is show myself how I pack up one of my packing cubes. I would really like a bird's eye shot of what I'm doing. I don't really have any way of doing that. Sometimes I just try and make my tripod as high as possible, and that can hold my main camera to try and like look down on it like that, but it's not ideal. Really, I do want something that just looks down on it. So I've got some duct tape, and my plan is to make a kind of hammock with it on the ceiling, and then I'll place some other duct tape on top of the sticky bit so I can rest my phone on there and it doesn't get actually stuck to the duct tape. Trial and error with these things. I just hope that it doesn't ruin my ceiling. Though, it could be a permanent thing. Looks a bit like this. Can you see that? I'm gonna make a hammock. That's what my phone's gonna go in. Should we give it a go? Oh, that is good. Yes. She's a genius. She's a creative genius. So now I've got to tidy my bed in order to do the filming. Now, in 4 minutes, I have a telephone meeting, but before I do that, I do want to grab a quick coffee to keep me going throughout the day. I do normally have 2 coffees each day, one first thing in the morning and then one like after lunch. I'm also going to fill up my water, not just to stay hydrated, but update on the coil. I feel like I'm starting to get like a little bit of discomfort. I wouldn't say that it's as far as cramps right now, but I just feel something. It just kind of feels a little bit tight down there. So before it gets worse, if it's going to get worse, I'm going to take some more ibuprofen. But let's make a coffee first. I have like 3 minutes before this meeting and I don't want to be late. Okay, here we go. She's got our coffee. She's ready for her meeting. It's about Solo, actually. It's about Solo, my clothing line. So I'm really looking forward to speaking to the team. I had a coil fitting this morning. What better time than a pandemic? I have a trip planned for September. It's sold out so quickly. So I'll be in Pakistan for 1 month because I met a guy when I was in Mexico and it just felt right. I'm low-key planning a road trip. A good challenge for me because I've never actually road tripped by myself. I'm not so worried about finding my way around. I am a bit concerned about like getting a little bit lonely. Maybe I can download Tinder. It could be entertaining. I won't know unless I go. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. What's that? Okay. No. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Oh my god, that was such an exciting meeting. Things are moving forward with Solo. We've got some brand new products coming out. This is stuff that I've literally been designing for years, and I know that sounds ridiculous, but like clothes designing process takes a long time anyway, but clothes designing during a pandemic just takes so friggin' long. And I know I keep saying this, but we are so close to the end of the process before we end up launching. We are hopefully going to be launching these new products like mid-summer, maybe July. I know that doesn't even seem soon, but like for me, after how long it's been, that's really, really soon. And now the time is 2:34. I'm pleased to say that whatever
build-up of crampage in my abdomen that was before the phone call has eased off. I took painkillers. What a dreamy win that is. Now I'm going to be working out at around 4:30, which means that I've got an hour and a half, 2 hours of time that I want to be continuing to be productive. So I am going to post that TikTok, which I edited just before the phone call, and then I'm going to continue writing the script for The Ultimate Guide to Puerto Escondido. But we are going well so far. Productive day, productive day. This is my mid-afternoon snack. And I'm going to put my phone on time-lapse again because I was getting distracted by it. What is wrong with me? I have an addiction to my phone. There's no denying that. I really do. So it's going on time-lapse so I can crack on with this script. I'm so well into this script. It's going really, really well. I promised my mum that we would go jogging at 4:30. So if you don't know, I'm currently doing the Couch to 5K program, and today is week 6, run 1. And for the past few weeks, my mum's actually been joining me, which is nice, and it makes the runs actually quite a lot easier because you have the distraction of talking to someone. My mum is quite good at running anyway. She normally just does her own runs of like 20 or 30 minutes, but instead of her doing that, she said she would join me for the Couch to 5K run, so it's quite nice. And I have been using my new AirPods Pro for the runs, and they are just an absolute game changer. The way that they just connect to my phone automatically when I put them in my ears, I've never had that before. They're so comfy. I don't really feel them in my ears when I'm running. I don't stick the noise cancelling on when I'm running because I want to be able to hear traffic and also talk to my mum. But the noise cancelling on them is really, really, really good as well. Like sometimes I do that when I'm walking through town and it's insane. So anyway, I purchased these from Costco and it's definitely been the purchase of the month. So I'm going to get into my running gear now and get on with Couch to 5K. So the schedule today is a 5-minute warm-up walk as usual, 5-minute run, 3-minute walk, 8-minute run, 3-minute walk, 5-minute run, and then a 5-minute walk cool down. So it's easier than the end of last week. That felt good actually. I was a little bit nervous having just had the coil pit in today and people were telling me horror stories on my Instagram like, oh, I was in so much pain for 3 days, or I was in so much pain for like 2 weeks, and I was like, oh God. But no, I feel absolutely fine and the run went well. I think we were running really, really fast. So that's good. And now it is time to shower. Normally at the time, so it's like, 5 o'clock now? 5:30, I would be doing Spanish classes. As many of you know, I have been studying Spanish with We Institute, which is a Spanish school based in Bogota, and they usually do their classes live in Bogota, but obviously during the pandemic it hasn't been running, so all of their classes have been via Zoom, which means that I've been able to attend here in the UK, and it's been every day from 5 o'clock to 7 o'clock in the evening. But I have been super, super busy with work the past couple of weeks, and so I've been taking a couple of weeks off, but that is what I would normally be doing in my productive daily routine at this time, and it's been working out really well to do that. I do plan to pick it up again next week though, because I'm keen not to leave too big a break in my Spanish learning, because I don't want to forget anything, you know? Like, I've come so far. I'm now level B 2.2, which is really, really good, and I'm conversational. But yeah, anyway, I feel sweaty and I'm gonna shower now. Hello. Well, dinner was absolutely delish. That's one of my favourite meals to make at the moment, just because it's super, super easy. It's healthy and nutritious. It's balanced, and it's tasty. I think it tastes nice. So yeah, now I've just poured myself a glass of white wine and I'm going to relax and wind down. I think I'm gonna watch, I've got my TV just here. I actually hardly ever watch TV, but I do fancy it this evening, an episode of Velvet, which is a Netflix series, which I'm on like season 3 of, but I haven't watched it in a while. It's a Spanish series, so it's based in Madrid and it's all in Spanish, but I watch it with English subtitles. I thought since I am not studying Spanish at the moment, it would still be good to get some kind of Spanish fix. So I'm going to watch that, and the episodes are quite long. They're like an hour and a quarter. And then I might read a bit of my new book. I bought Grace Beverley's Working Hard, Hardly Working, and I should probably point out, this is the first book I have ever bought in my entire life. Basically, I've always hated reading. I'm not a reader. It gives me a headache. I have to read things over and over and over again. And my family and friends would always say to me, oh, you're just not reading the right book. And anyway, this was a book that I genuinely wanted to read and I wanted to buy because I've been following Grace Beverley for years. She's a huge inspiration when it comes to like her businesses, and I was just so interested to see what she had written about productivity and how she gets as much work done as she seemingly does. So I really wanted to read this book. And yet I am really struggling to read it. I have to read each page again about 5 times before I can move on to the next page. So basically I've self-diagnosed myself with something. ADD, ADHD, I do not know what it is. But I have read through the introduction now at this point, and it's really good. Like, it's hard. I sound so stupid. It's really hard to read, and she's very eloquent and she uses big words, and so I've got Google out, like trying to find the meaning of a lot of the words. But it is so, despite that, it is so relatable what she said in the introduction, and I just think it so perfectly reflects what it's like to be a millennial working in today's society. And I think she's hit the nail on the head, so I'm looking forward to reading more of that. I think I'm just going to have to set myself like smaller tasks for reading this book, like aiming to read like 2 or 3 pages a day, because that takes me a really, really long time. But yeah, I guess that's me signing off from today's vlog. This is such a weird angle to speak to you at, like, hello. I really hope that you enjoyed it, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.